Finally, it looks like Serie A has a title race. 1 point separates Juventus and Napoli at the top of the table with just 4 matches remaining. So let's take a look at some of the form, the quality and the motivations for both the teams, and the FIF team will give their predictions for each of the matches on the run home to see who we have ending as the Scudetto holders for this season. In all of Europe's other top leagues, the champions have all but been decided. However, in Serie A, 2 still remain. Either Juventus will finish with their 7th straight Scudetto, or Napoli will win their first league championship in 28 years. So with 4 matches to go, let's take a look at the run home. For Juventus, it's Inter away, Bologna at home, Roma away, and Hellas Verona at home. As you can see, they need to play 2 of the top 5 teams. Not only that, but both of them away from home, and their away form has not been red hot of late. Of course, then we consider that Inter and Roma are in a battle of their own for Champions League qualification. Thus, there's an abundance of motivation for their opponents, which seem to make these even more difficult for the Bianconeri. For Napoli, it doesn't look as tough, though there are tricky matches away to both Fiorentina and Sampdoria, a home match against Torino, who have been in form over the past month, and finishing off against Crotone, who could well be playing for their Serie A lives. Though if Napoli truly deserve to win the title, at least 3, and some may argue all 4 of these matches are winnable and need to be won. Both clubs haven't been in the best form of late, which possibly adds more question marks as to how the season will actually finish. In the last 6 matches alone, Napoli have won 4 and drawn 2, while Juve have won 3, drawn 2, and of course lost last weekend against the Partenope. The Bianconeri have leaked a few goals uncharacteristically away from home of late, and the injury to Giorgio Chiellini will add to these defensive woes. Meanwhile, up front, it's been a bit of a drought in front of goal for both Gonzalo Higuain and Paulo Dybala, and they'll be looking to find some form on the run home. For Napoli, they've just started to emerge out of somewhat of a form slump, though they are still very reliant on those core players. They'll look to the experience of the likes of Marek Hamsik and Lorenzo Insigne, who is often amongst the action, though has been very much hit or miss in terms of his contributions over the last couple of months. After 6 straight Scudettos, it's been no secret that the Bianconeri's main goal has been Champions League success. Thus, after another disappointment this season, the Serie A title will be a consolation, but a relatively small one, particularly for the players that have been there for a couple of seasons. Whereas for Napoli, we know it's been a long and at times painful wait to not only get back to Serie A, but to be crowned champions once again. We know that Juventus will likely be there or thereabouts next season, but for Napoli, there's no such assurances, and there won't be an abundance of these kind of opportunities for them. The players will surely know that and will feel the longing from the fans. It may be a slight one, but it's hard to argue against Napoli wanting this more. Then we look to the quality of both the teams. Juventus quite simply has the experience and the depth to get the job done. We know that they've done it before time and time again. They simply can outlast any challenges because they have shown us that they are the most consistent team in Serie A. Napoli, they have the ability to underperform and not get things quite right at times. Of course, Juve does as well, though they generally are still able to get the result when they are underperforming. Napoli, historically speaking, has more of those draws in them, which in the past has been the difference, though of course they'll be hoping on this run home things will be a little different. So now let's get into the predictions. We asked some of the FIF team members to not give us their title tips, but instead give us their predictions for each of the 4 matches on the run home for both Juventus and Napoli. And this is what they came up with. For Juve, it was a mix of draws and wins against Inter, all wins against Bologna, wins, draws and a loss for Roma, and all wins against Hellas Verona. For Napoli, it was wins and draws against Fiorentina, all wins for Torino, all wins bar 1 draw against Sampdoria, and again all wins for Crotone. From those tips we then averaged out the results to get a final points tally for the run home for both clubs. For Juve, they got a total of 10 points in their last 4 matches, and for Napoli, 11 points, which means they would both finish on 95 points. Now this was not planned, this was not just to add a bit of drama, this actually was objective tips for each of the specific matches, and it's just the way it came out. Now if this was to eventuate, firstly it would go to the head-to-head, where the away team won 1-0 in both occurrences, so things still remain locked. Then it goes to goal difference. Juventus currently stand with a goal difference of 58 to Napoli's 48. Thus, based on our predictions, Juventus would win a 7th straight Scudetto by the thinnest of margins, which would likely be heartbreak for the Neapolitans. So of course that was our tips, but let us know who you came up with. If you've gone through the same process by tipping each of the matches on the run home, who do you have finishing as the Serie A champions? Let us know in the comments below. Of course, keep an eye out on the YouTube channel for any videos we do publish, and of course follow Serie A on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Otherwise, ciao for now.